I never imagined I'd find myself here, caught between love, betrayal, and the struggle to move forward. But here I am, trying to make sense of it all. When I look back at the years we spent together, I can't help but feel a mix of warmth and pain. There were moments when everything felt perfect, like we were invincible. And then there were moments like now, when it feels like everything has come undone. We met 6 years ago. She was everything I didn't know I needed. Kind, smart, with a way of grounding me when life got too chaotic. I'd always been someone who thrived on the hustle and bustle of life, but she brought a calmness that balanced me. When we had our son 2 years ago, it felt like the culmination of all our love and hard work. Becoming a parent wasn't easy, but the joy he brought into our lives made every sleepless night and every challenge worthwhile. And yet, things weren't as perfect as I wanted to believe. Looking back, I can see the warning signs, the moments of distance, the unspoken words, the tension that neither of us wanted to address. In November 2023, everything came to a head. I discovered she'd been talking to someone else, and not just talking. She was pregnant. It felt like the ground had been pulled out from under me. I should have walked away then. Every rational part of me told me to. But love isn't rational, is it? Despite everything, I chose to stay. I told myself it was for our son, for the family we'd built, for the future we'd dreamed of. And in some ways, it was. But there was also a part of me that couldn't let go of the hope that we could fix this, that we could be happy again. So I stayed. We reconciled. It wasn't easy. Being there for her during her pregnancy, a pregnancy that wasn't mine, was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I was there. I went to the appointments. I supported her when she felt overwhelmed, and I was by her side when the baby was born. I told myself it was the right thing to do, even when it felt like it was breaking me. During that time, I made my own mistakes. A woman I'd known in the past reached out to me. She lived in another state, so nothing physical ever happened, but I found myself confiding in her more and more. I was vulnerable, and she listened. It was a mistake, one I regret deeply. It created a distance between my partner and me that only made things worse. When she found out, it led to one of the most dramatic confrontations we'd ever had. Despite everything, we tried again. We cut ties with the people who'd come between us and focused on rebuilding what we had. For a while, it seemed to work. We communicated more, supported each other, and started to find our way back to a place of stability. I even helped her move into a new apartment closer to her work, thinking it would make life easier for her and the kids. But the cracks were still there, just beneath the surface. On New Year's, she insisted on spending the evening alone at her apartment. It felt strange to me, but I didn't push. Then, last week, I decided to surprise her at her place on one of her days off. I thought it would be a nice gesture, a way to spend some quality time together. But when I showed up, she wasn't happy to see me. We ended up having a long conversation about privacy, about space, and about the things we hadn't been able to move past. She told me she couldn't get over the fact that I'd confided in someone else. And while part of me understands that, another part of me can't help but feel like it's an excuse. I can't shake the suspicion that she's talking to someone new, even though I have no proof. It's just a feeling, a nagging doubt that I can't ignore. Now, here I am, in this emotional limbo. We're broken up, but we're not. We're co-parenting, but it's complicated. I'm trying to move on, but I'm struggling. Letting go has never been easy for me, and this time is no different. There's a part of me that still loves her, that still wants to believe we can make it work, but there's also a part of me that knows it might be time to let go for good. The hardest part is knowing that we'll always be connected through our son. He's the light in all of this darkness, the one thing that keeps me grounded. But even that connection makes it harder to move forward. How do you let go of someone when you have to see them, talk to them, and work with them to raise a child? I don't have all the answers. I'm still figuring it out. But what I do know is that love is complicated, trust is fragile, and healing takes time. I'm trying to focus on myself, on being the best father I can be, and on finding a way to move forward that doesn't compromise my happiness or my son's well-being. If there's one thing I've learned through all of this, it's that life is messy. Relationships are messy, but we keep going, we keep trying, we keep learning, and maybe, just maybe, we find a way to heal along the way.